Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1687, frequently asked travel questions. So yeah, we're having a bit of a travel theme this week. And I'm sitting here and I'm like doing my little thing. I'm going, why is this thing not going live? And I didn't hit the live button. It helps to hit the live button if you want to go live. So I apologize. I was just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, humming away, and I was like, why is this? It's taking a long time to connect. And then I realized that, yeah, you got to press the live button. So frequently asked travel questions that travel professionals get asked by our travelers. So some of the frequently asked questions that we get are, one, should I get a passport or a passport card? This is one of my favorite questions. Don't ask me why, I have no clue. If you go to travel.state.gov, G-O-V, that has a huge whole thing about travel card versus the passport. Basically, your passport will get you just about anywhere, and you can fly. If you've got a passport, you can fly internationally. For closed-loop cruises, according to travel.state.gov, and I always direct people there because I want to make sure that they get the most up-to-date information. State.gov, which I'm just going to right now, so I can get the most up-to-date information. Because yes, as a travel professional, I can get into trouble for giving you misinformation. So what I always tell people to do is go check this website. It's got all the information that you need there on how to apply for passports, passport cards, what you do for international travel, what countries are you visiting. It gives you updates on countries as well, so you can learn about the countries. They will even have information on different restrictions, driving. They've got learn about the destination safety and security messaging, driving and road safety abroad, customs and import restrictions. Always good, and here is why. I was in a group one time, and a travel agent, advisor, they call them now, went ballistic because her client had been charged $500 on entering New Zealand with dirty hiking boots. And she went off about how the customs person was having a bad day and it really upset her client and put a mark on their thing. And so everybody was like supporting her with all of this, going, oh, that's so bad. And oh, blah. So I read through all these comments, were all supporting the travel agent. And I'm like, well, as somebody who knows the rules for going into New Zealand on this particular topic, I decided to put things right. I turned around and said, for a start, please stop badgering a customs person in New Zealand for doing their job. That is exactly what they are supposed to do. In fact, if you go to, and I put the website in there, which was the New Zealand Customs site, and it had this page, and at the top of the page is this big in red writing with yellow all over it, and everything else is a huge, huge warning stating that if you break any of the following rules, there are hefty fines. And I said, what you don't understand is that New Zealand has a very fragile horticultural and agricultural system, and anybody bringing in foreign matter like dirt on boots could quite easily bring in something that could upset the balance on that and destroy our produce and our export business that we have. I said, so that person was actually doing their job. I said, so please wind your head in, look at it from the perspective of you're coming into a country where they have a fragile cost. They have it written all over their website and everything else that if you ignore these rules, there are hefty fines. I said, we got the flying thing back again. I said, so they were actually doing their job, and I praise them for doing their job and finding your clients. I said, now it is up to our clients to find out this information, but it is also up to us as a travel professional to advise our clients what websites to go and read about things like making sure your hiking boots have been cleaned so that you're not taking foreign matter into the country. And yeah, there was the whole chat conversation thing went dead silent. Nobody posted anything after that. And yeah, they didn't have a leg. Basically, the person going into the country didn't have a leg to stand on because they hadn't done their homework. Also, too, I put a slight, even though It is our responsibility as a travel professional to make sure our clients are as well informed as we can possibly make them. It is up to our clients to source their own visas and things, but we can point them in the right direction to go to get that information. So when it comes to passports versus passport cards, yes, I know what the website states about this, but why do I always then turn around and go back to this is what you need to do? You need to go to the site. Even though I've given them the information from the site, I said, now you have to go to the website and look up this information for yourself. And the reason that I have to, the reason that I state this is because things change. Now, I'm in there a lot on travel.state.gov looking at things for my clients, and I actually send them websites, go, please read this information, please read this information, please read this information. Please make sure you're aware of this information. Because it is important that you know this information. And you might think that it's redundant that you're giving this information. Oh, they can just go look it up. No, tell them, because they can come back. Because as a travel professional, if I don't tell a client some information or I give them misinformation, they can come back and sue me. And I'm sort of like, yeah, I'm not only am I making sure that they have a great time by making their trip as informative as I possibly can, I'm also making sure that they have the information as well, that I have provided them with the information. And it's not a he says, she says thing, because there is an email that I send out that has all of that information in it. Please go and read this. Please check this site. You need to go here to do this. You need to go do this. Da, 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 da. And I have the little bullet points going down there. So yes. So what is a passport card? Oh, I love it. I've got to find the right place here. One moment, please. So a passport card allows you to travel. Hang on, Helen can't spell. One moment, please. Oh, they're playing not nice tonight. So part of the Western Hemisphere Travel Initiative. Okay. For some reason, I always have trouble finding this. You'd think I would bookmark it after. Actually, I probably have got it bookmarked. Here I was saying, you think I'd have it bookmarked? And I'm probably thinking, yeah, actually, maybe I do have it bookmarked. Just not where I can find it very quickly. Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't have it booked. Well, that's interesting. I don't have, because I go and look it up every time because I'm giving them different sites to go to. Okay, so I'm trying to find the Western Hemisphere. Hemisphere. Tell you, I can't. Okay. All right, so I'm actually going to do this real fast. I actually did a video on this ages ago, like years ago. So with a passport, you can fly. Okay. So both the passport and the passport card, this is in the US here, this is in the US, just to give you a heads up. So both the passport and the passport book and the passport card are valid for 10 years for adults and 5 years for children. The renewals can be different. You can use the passport card, can be used to cross land borders from Mexico and Canada faster. So some people don't like carrying their books around. They just do I carry my passport card with if I've got my, what do I do with it? Oh, I do have a wallet that I carry around with me, and it has my passport in it. So passport cards cannot be used to fly. It's as simple as that. I'm actually going to look up. There it is. It's on the wrong side, that's why. Okay, so I'm trying to look for the okay, so if you're on a closed loop cruise and a closed loop for US citizens, if you're on a closed loop cruise, that's the cruise that begins and ends in the same US port. So if you're going from Fort Lauderdale to LA, it does not apply. If you're going out of Fort Lauderdale and you're returning to Fort Lauderdale in the Caribbean and stuff, yes, it applies. You're able to enter the United States with a birth certificate and a government issued photo ID and your passport card. And there's a passport card you can use there, and you can also use your passport. I use a passport. Here is the reason why people who do this, going out of LA down to Mexico and back again, yes, you can travel with that, but, and this is a huge, huge thing that people don't think about. If you are not traveling with the correct documentation and there's an emergency where you have to get offloaded off the ship for whatever reason, or the ship leaves without you because you weren't back in time for it, you're now stuck in that country and can't get out because you need a passport to do so. Think about that. You need a passport to fly. And some countries will actually want you to have a passport in order to enter them. But with the passport card, yes, you can you can do the closed loop cruises. Yes, you can drive across the border into Mexico or drive across the border into Canada using just this passport card. But if anything happens and you have to get back quickly and you have to fly, you're stuck because you can't fly on a passport card. You can only fly on a passport book. Sorry, Zeffy. So this is a huge thing. So when you're going across the borders and everything else, yes, you're fine to take just the passport card. But remember, if you have to get back quickly and you have to get back quickly or you have to fly back for whatever reason, you're not going to be able to do it on a passport card. There was a newspaper article, this is back before the whole global pause thingy, back in like 2019, I think it was, where an airline employee allowed a person to board a plane with a passport card that was flying internationally. They got to the country where they were going and the country refused them admission into that country because they had a passport card and not a passport. So it is very, very important that you check these things. You go to travel. This one's on the CBP, so Customs and Border Patrol. On their side is where the Western Hemisphere Travel Initiative is. But it allows you to get across into Canada or into Mexico quicker, and you don't have to have a passport. And so it tells you what you do need to have. But I always recommend always take a passport. I don't see why you shouldn't not take a passport, but always take a passport, simply because if you have to fly back in an emergency or if you get offloaded off a ship, you have a way to get home. The next question is, do I need travel insurance? Absolutely. Don't even ask me that question because it will be yes. Well, can I get away? No. Why? Very good question. Too many times people think, oh, I don't need travel insurance. My credit card covers me. My medical insurance will cover it. Check with your medical insurance company. No. A lot of medical insurance companies here in the US do not cover you if you travel internationally. If you're on a cruise ship, you're not covered. If you're on, in Canada or Mexico and you're a US citizen, you're not covered. And check this with these people. But always ask your travel professional about travel insurance. They will offer it. It goes out on any quotes that I have. There's a whole blurb in there about travel insurance. Are you interested in it? This is why you should get it. Blah 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 blah. Always 100% of the time recommended. There is nobody I do not ask if they want travel insurance. Simply because it helps cover a lot of different things. It can cover delays in your trip. I have used travel insurance twice. I purchase travel insurance whenever I travel, even domestically, because it covers my flights. If my flights are canceled, my trip is delayed or anything like that, I'm covered with my travel insurance. So yes, you can get it for domestic travel as well. Yes, my medical is covered by my medical insurance, but my travel is covered by my travel insurance. So if my bags are lost or go missing, if my flights are delayed and I miss a cancellation, if I have to fly back early. I have used travel insurance, no, actually 3 times now, 3 times. So the first time I used travel insurance, we were down in Mexican Riviera. We're down there for a cruise planners convention. It was awesome. It was fantastic. And Brad and I had elected to stay an extra day down there after the conference because we were going to be doing some, they had some resorts down there that we were going to go and do some tours of because we were based at one resort. And so they had these tours organized at these other resorts. And that we were going to go and tour and have a look and see what they offered and things like that. So we knew a little more about them than what was on the website. And we could actually physically see the rooms and see the venues that they had and all that. So we're down there, and Hurricane Rita decided to join us. Fortunately, our conference had finished. We heard that this hurricane was coming in. They started moving people that were on the beachfront villas. They started moving them back further closer to the main office there. All the restaurants and stores across the beachfront were closed and boarded up. And when they were out there boarding up everything, they took all the Wi-Fi antennas off all of the buildings because they would have just been ripped off anyway. And so the only place you get Wi-Fi was up in the main administration building where they had the conference rooms, and they had some stores up there. They had some restaurants in the main building. And so you'd go up there in the evening and there were people everywhere. Some people elected to finish their trip early and fly home so that they would miss everything. And I just looked at Brad and he looked at me and we said, well, we're supposed to be here till, I think we finished on Wednesday, and Thursday was the day we're doing the travel. Yeah, Thursday was the day we're doing the travel, the tour around the area and the resorts. And so I was like, okay, well, our flight's not till Friday, so we'll be fine. Yeah, no, our flight on Friday got cancelled. So as soon as I heard that our flight was cancelled, I immediately went up to the building, up to the main building there, and I found a quiet corner, and I got on the internet, and I actually used, what was it back then? We didn't have Zoom then, Skype, because Skype you could do phone calls out of. And so I called the insurance company via Skype, and because you could do, I think you paid like $60 a year and you had unlimited calls that you could make via Skype, even international numbers and all this sort of stuff. It was some deal that they had back then. So I called the 800 number for the insurance company, explained to them the situation, and they said, okay, here is your claim number. This is what you need to do. And at that point, we were on the verge of the hurricane coming ashore, close to coming ashore where we were. So our flight on Friday had been canceled. I said, our flight's been canceled on Friday. They've already announced that. We've got Hurricane Rita about to touch down. Because we had purchased the insurance before the hurricane was named, we were covered. So this is another important thing, that when you purchase your travel insurance, purchase it at the time you make your deposit for your trip. And this being because if it is an unknown event at the time that you purchase it, you are covered for an event where that later on gets named or recognized. So for example, if there's hurricane, you're traveling in hurricane season, but there are no named hurricanes at the time that you're looking to travel. So you go and book the thing, you book your travel insurance now, and then all of a sudden they name this hurricane and you try to book the trip after the hurricane is named, they will tell you anything that is related to the hurricane that disrupts your trip related to the hurricane is not covered. So if your flights get canceled because of the hurricane, you're not covered once the hurricane is named. If you do it before the hurricane is named or didn't even know that there was hurricanes going to come into the area, you're covered. That's basically how it works. So if the event is a known event and you book after the event is known, you're not covered. If it is booked before the event is known, you're covered. So I had one person one time who called me and says, I need to get travel insurance for going to Iceland. I says, okay, here is the issue. They currently have eruptions going on there at the moment. They're like, yeah, that's why I need the insurance. I says, you're not going to get it. I said, I can sell you insurance, but anything that is disrupted on your trip because of the volcano eruptions will not be covered. And they're like, why not? I said, because it is a known event. If it's a known event, they ain't going to cover you. They'll cover you for anything that is not related to the volcanic eruptions. And she's like, oh, okay. And I said, and plus the price has just gone sky high as well, because there is a known event going on. So make sure you do that. Talk with your travel professional about that. Sometimes they can do multiples, so get a quote across different policies that they have and decide for you which is the best ones. Some will be cancel any time for any reason, and they'll have covered reasons, and then anything that is not mentioned there, you don't get 100% back, you get like 80%. But depending on the disclaimer, depending on the travel, the insurance company. So there's all sorts of different things that you got to look at when you're looking at travel insurance. Now, when I was in Mexico, we got our claim number, and she said, this is what you need to keep track of. So we had to pay for the 3 extra nights we were at the resort. And the reason we were at the resort for 3 extra nights was because we had business first class tickets. And Brad was medically required to, Brad could not medically travel in economy because of his height and medical issues that he had. He was not able to travel economy anymore. So he had to travel at least business class or higher. And so I said, well, he's got business class tickets and is medically required to travel business class. And they even rebooked the flights for us. So they got us on flights on Monday. So, well, you're going to have to stay until Monday. And I went, oh, at an all-inclusive resort, that might be a tough thing to do. They just started laughing. But the cool thing was that we had only bought laundry clothes with us enough for however many days we were going to be there. And so we went and we got all of our laundry and we sent it all off to get dry cleaned and everything else. It all came back. That was all covered by the insurance. The extra nights we stayed, all covered by the insurance. Any other out-of-pocket expenses we had was all covered by the insurance, except for personal shopping. But any expenses that we had because of our extended stay was covered. And when we got home, we immediately put all the receipts together and sent it all off to the insurance company. And within 2 weeks, we had our refund, which was awesome. The next time we used our travel insurance, we were on our river cruise in 2011, 2012, hang on, 2011. And I got sick. If you've heard me talk, there was a Typhoid Mary on the bus going to the hotel that was on the cruise with us as well. She should never have gotten on the plane in the first place. She was telling us on the bus, there's just Brad and I on the bus going to the hotel. We've been picked up by the cruise line to go to the hotel in Prague. And she's busy telling us about how sick she had been. This was the first day that she felt really good and just a little tired, and she hadn't been able to keep anything down. And I'm like looking at Brad, and I said to Brad, what the hell is she doing here? So I don't know. But I ended up getting sick along with half of the other passengers and half the crew on the cruise ship. And that was a 24-hour stomach flu. And so when we were docked at, where were we docked? Oh, what was the name of that town? It's German town that I really wanted to go see. UNESCO World Heritage Site, Regensburg. Anyway, we were docked there, and Brad was my liaison. He would walk out and come back and go and tell the cruise director the cruise manager what we needed, and Because I said, go out, tell them that I am not going to be able to go on any of these tours today. I am sick. I am staying in my cabin. I'm confining myself to cabin. I knew the protocol. If you've got vomiting and diarrhea, you do not leave your cabin for any reason whatsoever unless the ship is sinking and you're told to evacuate the ship. You don't leave. And so he went out and says, look, Helen says that she's confining herself to cabin because of da-da-da. And they said, well, make sure she's, and he says, oh, that won't be a problem. And I ended up and it seemed to ease off. Then it started up again. And so they then brought a doctor on board the ship because they also had another person that needed a doctor as well. He came in, did an exam on me in the cabin. They had one of the crew members there because we're in Germany. I didn't speak German. The doctor didn't speak English. So we had one of the crew there was translating for us. And so he prescribed a medication. The crew member went and got the medication, came back. Everything was put onto our room bill when we got back home. Nothing, of course, was covered by our medical insurance, but the travel insurance picked it all up, which was awesome. Yeah, they even have that as well. So if you are in some cases, depending on the insurance company you have, some of them will even have, if you're sick, you call your insurance, the number that's there that you call, that's on your insurance card thing, there's a number there to call when you're overseas, and you tell them what the situation is. They tell you what hospital to go to. And I had a guest on podcast years ago, and she was talking about when she traveled and how sick she got. And so she called her dad, and her dad says, call your travel insurance. And so she called the travel insurance company. They said, yep, go to this particular hospital. No other. Don't let them take you anywhere else. You have to go to this one. And we'll have somebody meet you there. They had somebody meet her there who was her patient advocate. That person was her advocate. They spoke the local language. They were able to translate everything for her. They double-checked everything. And this hospital had been had been checked out by the insurance company. So it was one of their hospitals that they knew, and they had somebody meet her there who basically stayed with her the entire time that she was in hospital and did all the translating, any advocacy that needed to be done. This person did it on her behalf and everything else. So travel insurances are worth their weight in gold. The third time I used travel insurance, it was for a domestic trip. And I was on the East Coast, and I got a call to say that my mother-in-law had been put into hospital and was not doing very well. And I had just arrived in New Jersey for a training class that was taking place on the weekend. And I says, okay, I'm here in New Jersey. I'm meant to be flying home on Monday because I got a class that finishes Sunday. Do you need me to come home before then? And my sister-in-law said no. So I says, okay, I will be home on Monday. No, I'll be home. I'll get a flight out Sunday night, which I then called the travel insurance company. They booked me a flight on Sunday night from New Jersey back to San Diego, so I could then Monday morning drive up to LA to go and see my mother-in-law and everything that was revolving around her that week. So that was the third time I'd used it. It was trip interruption, and so called the insurance company. They booked me on a flight out on Sunday night, which meant I had to leave my class early to get to the airport on time. But there was also another couple of people that had to do that as well. But it was my mother-in-law. It was the last time I was going to get to see her. So, so we did that as well. So that's 3 times I've used them for 3 completely different reasons, and they've come through every time. And it's a reason that I always, always, always strongly advise my travelers to take out travel insurance. And they say, oh, my credit card cover. Ask your credit card company exactly what they cover. Then look at the policy that your travel professional is providing you and see which one gives you the better coverage before you turn around and say, oh, my travel insurance, my credit card provides that for me. I'm a such and such member and they provide that. Okay. Ask them exactly what it is they provide. Ask them to provide you with the policy, a copy of the policy so you can see what they cover. You can get a quote from your the travel insurance through your travel professional, and they have that comes with a copy of the policy as well, and you can compare the two to see which one gives you the better coverage. There are some coverages out there that if you pay the extra, it covers your business. So if for some reason you have to work, you suddenly get called back into work and you can't go on the vacation, or if something goes wrong in your business and you have to suddenly close the doors, or your business owner, you suddenly have to close the doors, it's all that. It's all in there. So pay attention to what's on the insurance thing, read it through, and strongly, strongly, strongly urge domestic travel, international travel with travel insurance. Travel with travel insurance. It's just, to me, it's a no-brainer. Having used it, having to put in 3 different claims on 3 different things, it's worth its weight. It paid for itself. It really, really paid for itself. So, I was super stoked about all of that. And on the one where I had to go back early from New Jersey, my rooms had been prepaid. So I got my cost for the 4th night, because I was there Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. So I was there for 3 nights and I ended up staying 2. So so the travel insurance covered the cost of the last night of the hotel, because I had to leave early and I'd prepaid. So there was no refund on anything. So that was covered by travel insurance too. So read all the thing. Okay. We only got through 2 questions: passports versus passport cards and travel insurance. Well, there's a lot of questions that people ask. What other questions have I got there? Maybe I'll do another one tomorrow night. Yes, another one tomorrow night might be good. Then I don't have to come up with anything else. What do you do if you miss a flight? If you've booked through a travel professional and they've booked your flights for you, call them. Call them. Simplest thing. I had a client. This is the funniest. This guy was hilarious. I thought I had shiny object syndrome. This guy was like supercharged, super shiny object syndrome. And I had to keep bringing him back whenever we were on the phone. It's like, come on, get back on track. I need this. And he'll be standing there with his credit card in hand, ready to give me the credit card number for 20 minutes before he finally gave me before I finally got the credit card number for him to book his trip and everything else. But this one is the best one. So as to why you have a travel professional, because if you have flights that, if you miss a connection, if you have a flight that's canceled, what do? You do what everybody else does, and you go to the airline. If you're at the airport, you go to the airline's customer service desk and stand in line for hours. And I myself have done this. That's right. Yeah, I've done this on another flight. So I had one time when a flight was canceled, but the one with the customer is a lot funnier. And only because I have done this myself, but of course I was the travel professional, so I called myself while I was waiting in line, so I didn't have to wait in line. But my client called me and says, "Hey, our flight got in late. I missed my cancellation flight." I said, "Where are you?" And he told me what airport he was at, and he had like an hour and a half. There was an hour and a half between the flights. And I says, "Your flight was over an hour and a half late?" He's like, "Yeah." He says, "I got there and they were already pulling away from the gate." And I'm like, "Okay." And he says, "Now I'm standing in line with all of these people who were also on my flight that missed their flight. And there's a very long line here." And I went, "Okay." I said, "So let me give you a call back in a couple of minutes." So I called the airline, got him rebooked on another flight, told him what gate he had to go to because he had to go there straight away. It was going to be leaving in like 30 minutes. So I called him back and I said, "Okay, you are now leaving on this particular flight. It's at this gate at the airport. You need to get your butt over there right now." And he says, "So I have to get out of line." And he starts asking me these questions on the phone in a loud voice. And he says, "So I have to get out of line now?" I go, "Yes, you can get out of line. You've got to go to this particular gate and your flight leaves in 30 minutes. So get moving. They just started boarding." Okay. So I really don't have to wait in line. I just need to go to that gate and I can get on and they've got my boarding pass there and everything. I said, "Yes." I said, "Go." So, okay. And then here I'm walking down. And he said, "Now I really don't have to stand in line." I said, "No, you do not have to stand in line." And then I realized what he was doing. He was telling all these people that were in line as he's walking past them that he had a travel professional do all of this for him. So he doesn't have to stand in line with all these other people while they have to sort everything out. And he's going, "Man, it's really good to have a travel agent on your speed dial." As he's walking down this line of people all waiting in line to get the customer service. And I was just sort of like, "Yep, we go the extra mile for our clients. We really do." But that was one of the other things that, if you miss a flight. And there was one time I was standing in line. Now, I was business class, but they didn't have a line for business class. Actually, no, they did. I was waiting in the business line class. And so I'm talking to the person on the phone and I'm waiting in line. And our line is taking forever because they'll take a couple of people from over here and they'll take the business. And they had one person working the business class line. And there was probably about 20 people in front of me in the business class line. And so I'm just standing there waiting in line and I'm talking to the airline on the phone as well at the same time. And by the time I got to the front of the line, they were calling me up to the desk as I'm on the phone. And I went up and said, "Yes, I've just finished talking with this person at customer support. They've now got me booked on this particular flight. Here is the flight number and here's the flight details and everything. Can you play, are you able to give me my boarding pass here so I don't have to bug the people at the gate?" And they said, "Absolutely." Done, gone. So if you miss a flight and you've got a travel professional in your back pocket, give them a call. Ask them, "Help, please." And if they book the flights for you, they will be able to help you. If you booked your flights yourself, just get on the phone with customer service while waiting in line at the airport with customer service there too. Because sometimes when you get on the phone, you'll get through a lot quicker. Otherwise, you could spend hours standing in line at an airport. But stay in line in case you can't get through on the phone as well. So stay in line until everything is confirmed and then leave the line and go. So that's it for tonight. I've got a puppy who has, I don't know if you can see her, but she's laying on the floor back there. You can probably see her ears. Come here, Zeph. She's like, no. She was laying flat on the floor with her head underneath the curtains again. That seems to be her new position now whenever I get on here and do the live before. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. All right, good girl. Come say hello to everybody. There you go. You gonna say hello to everybody? She's seeing what's on my desk. Yeah, you can say hello to everybody. That a good girl. So you're gonna say, "We're gonna be back tomorrow night, but tomorrow night we're gonna be on early because Mama has to go back to work at 6:00. So we're gonna be on at 5:30 Pacific tomorrow evening, and we'll do some more frequently asked travel questions. If you have any travel questions that you would like answered, that are just general travel questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below, and we will put them on the air tomorrow night. So we'll be on at 5:30 tomorrow, excuse me, 5:30 tomorrow evening. So please make sure you make that change. 5:30 Pacific tomorrow evening, and we will see you then. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening.